to follow the way of the cross. We're always going to follow the Lord's leadership and His worship in our lives very imperfectly. He understands that. That's why we always have to, it's important for me. There's never going to be anything in my life that I'm just going to do one time. Maybe seldom. And I just have to, I'll get this started and it'll just continue to knock dominoes down. I'm grateful Jack had to help me to let's hit it again. And so sometimes I ask the Lord, touch me again, or give me a fresh touch. Reach down, hit me one more time. Well, I don't know I was going to use a Britney Spears song in my sermon this morning, but there you go. You let the Spirit lead. Need another kick. And you and I should always be enthusiastically seeking, Lord, where do I need you to touch? What do I need to kick? What do I need to hit? I find in my life as I get older that there's a tendency for me to become sedentary, to get relaxed, to begin to say, well, I'm working toward retirement. I'm headed toward the house. Please don't ever calm down. Don't say, well, it's time to let the young people do their thing. I hope you'll always have a zeal. Let the Lord give you I remember talking about Moses, even though it was at the end of Moses' life, it says his eyes were still very clear and bright, and his face, his countenance was sharp. He was Lord, even though he had been following the Lord's leadership for a very long time, since he was still sharp and was still capable. That was the Bible's way, or God's way of saying, God wasn't calling Moses home because he was finished or done or that he was of no more use or no more value. It was just time for Joshua to kick in. Now, I wanted to show you this. I saw this and I amplified it, but there's another video on there. Let's close the PowerPoint for just a minute, Carter. I'm sorry, you're on the ball. But there's a call, Domino Fail. This kind of hit me where I'm at, that's my life. And look the look on her face. That's it. Having seen all of that, I'm going to ask you this question. That's what the point this morning. Is there anything in your life, I mean, not just church stuff, not just Christian stuff, religious stuff. I know that we do compartmentalize. We have this part of my life, and then here's the church part of my life. So, we should really kind of have a Jesus basket and put everything into that. But I know there's a tendency for us to the things that have to do with our spiritual life, we don't think it has anything to do with being at the races or being at the ball game or lighting firecrackers. I appreciate your patience, and no one has ever said anything critical about the object lessons and things like that. You may not be fond of them, you may not care for them. But when I was about 11 or 12 years of age, I got interested in magic. My family, we went on a vacation up to Michigan to see family, and all in Canada. We came down to Niagara, and we went to a magic museum there, the Magical Hall of Fame. And went through the museum. Guess what? When you dumped out, you were in the gift shop. There's all kinds of magic tricks. And believe it or not, there aren't any magic shops around in Decatur at that time. Really not any now. So I became interested in magic. When a few years later, when I became a Christian, I bundled up all my magic tricks. And I had collected quite a collection by 2 or 3 years. And all my stars and my cards and the balls and the boxes and the different things that I had that were magic. And I boxed them all up and I kind of put them underneath the bed and put them in the closet. I was a Christian now. It wasn't that Christian was that magic was anti-Christian. I guess people have told me it's of the devil since then, but at that time I had no idea that a simple hobby of doing tricks was in any way non-Christian, but I could see that my life was going to be devoted entirely, completely, to being a Christian and serving Jesus. Now, You know, I never did do that with my guitar. I've been taking guitar lessons for a little while, and so I could see very clearly, very plainly how I could play songs on my guitar and sing songs about Jesus. It wasn't until a few years later that we went, our church youth choir the Flint Baptist Church Youth Choir, we went to sing at a revival. And it was at a Methodist church. And the Methodist evangelist that week was a man named Jesse Wright. And he was the pastor of the East End Methodist Church here in Decatur. I think we were way out in the middle of the county somewhere in a little church out there in the middle of nowhere singing, but it was a full house of people. And that night before Brother Jesse did his message, he brought all the children forward, and he called the lamb service. That's why I've called it that ever since. Jesus said, feed my sheep, feed my lambs. And he did a magic trick. I recognized it. It was a trick called the acrobatic silks. I didn't have it, but I recognized I'd seen it before. And he shared a story, and he shared a gospel message, a Bible message with those children using the magic trick. I learned something very valuable, not just about hobbies and not just about magic or things, but I learned at that point. I was so excited, I was so thrilled. God showed me that night that if I was a wood carver or a whittler, if I sculpted clay, or if I was a painter, if I played golf, or if I played baseball, which I did, or football, if I studied karate, whatever I did, whatever I chose to fill my time with, God could use that. I could take that, and in some way, God could use that to enable me to share my faith and to tell other people about Jesus. And sometimes when I have found something in my life, and I could not find a way that God could use that, then I boxed that up and put it underneath the bed. Is there anything in your life that just keeps falling down? Or maybe it's fallen down now. So any aspect of who you are, what you do every day, that is not rewarding, that it's not productive, it doesn't make you happy, it doesn't thrill your heart, it's not something that you think God is particularly excited about in your life. In anything, I mean, not just, like I said, not just Christian stuff, not just Bible stuff or church stuff, but is there anything in your life that you just keep poking it like that little girl, and it just falls down. And it doesn't get any momentum. It doesn't touch anything else. It doesn't go anywhere. Nothing comes from it. It's exasperating. It's discouraging and frustrating. Is there anything in your life that maybe it's been there all your life? Maybe it's something that is a part of who you are now. Maybe it's deeply ingrained, or maybe it's just a casual aspect of what you call your life. But you poke it, and it just falls down. And you poke it again, and it just falls down. You're not succeeding. There's no, it's not anything that brings you joy or anybody else. It's just, is there anything in your life like that? This is part 2 of Adding. Jesus' plan for you and his church. Because you know what? You are his church. Let's look at the next slide. You might call this sermon the way to be better at anything. The way to be better at anything. Not just Christian stuff. Or the way to get more from anything. The way to get more from anything. All right, let's go on. A little bit of review right here first. In the next slide, remember we're in the book of Acts. In chapter 2, verse 47, it says, the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved. My, what an exciting thing that all of a sudden, now remember there were lots of people that tagged along, the multitudes followed Jesus. But none of them ever added themselves to him. Very few of them ever added themselves to him or allowed God to add them to what Jesus was doing. They were just curiosity seekers. They were just interested. They were just minimally interested. And when everything, as they say, came falling apart, and all the dominoes began to fall in Jesus last week, every one of these people disappeared. I mean, all of them, even the 12. But remember here in 2 Peter chapter 1, verses 5 through 9, Peter says, I learned this from the Lord. Beside all this, give diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance, to temperance patience, and to patience godliness. And to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness charity or love. But if all these things are in you and they abound, they'll make you so that you'll neither be barren or unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. But he that lacks these things is blind and cannot see afar off, and he's forgotten that he was purged from his old sins. I think sometimes what Peter says, if you're not adding to your life, and really a sermon about adding is really just another kind of sermon about growing. Growing a church, or growing your life, or growing as a Christian, becoming more mature and stronger, reaching higher, having your roots plowed deeper. It's about becoming a stronger, a better Christian, walking a straighter line, getting closer to the Lord, and seeing, as he says, not being barren or unfruitful, by having stuff happen in your life. He says, I really think that if there's anything in your life that you're just kind of poking and it's not going anywhere, you're putting the keys in and you're turning the ignition, but it's not cranking. You're out in front and you're doing that old thing you're doing like that. You're at the lawnmower and you're pulling on the rope and nothing is happening. He says, you may have just forgotten. He's forgiven all your sins. He's saved you. He's washed you. He's cleansed you. Maybe you just forgot. Wait a minute. I don't have to be a dead-end person. Something. Every day when I go home, when I'm headed to where I stay, as our black brother would say, where I stay in Scottsboro, as soon as I turn onto the road where my apartment is, there's a sign there that says dead end. There's so many times I drive there at 5:15 or 5:30 and say, you got that right. You ever lived on that street? Yeah, dead end. And not every day, but most days after work I just come in and I say, I'm living on a dead-end street. Well, we can grow out of anything. Grow out of anything. And we have the potential. Why? Because he saved us. We're a child of the King. You're a child of God. And that's what he's saying. Don't forget who you are and what's happened to you. That makes anything possible. All right, let's go on. Now, remember, we're building a wall. We're building something. We're making something. We're not setting up dominoes. We're laying brick. And if the pieces and the parts, if the parts of your life, and you're just kind of making it up as you go, and you're just a little bit of here and a little bit of there and a little bit of a do you, what is this guy right here building? What's he making? I don't know. He's got a brick over here to brick me in and say, no, that's not what I want. That's not, nothing is happening. That's not going anywhere. Yeah, I'm laying brick, and yeah, things are happening, and yeah, I'm doing something. That's dead-end stuff right there. Let's look at, go on to the next slide, Carter. See how these things, they're touching, and they're together. There's a unity in it. There doesn't have to be conformity. There has to be the things and the parts of our lives have to be ordered. They have to be put in their place. And that's what the leadership of the Holy Spirit is all about, or the leadership of the Lord. He wants to make something, but he wants it to go up higher. He wants it to fit together. He wants one piece to help the other piece. That's what the whole purpose of the church is. He wants everything to make everything stronger. He wants everything to grow taller and to get better. Everything that God created in the book of Genesis in chapter 1, he says he looked at it when he finished and he said, boy, it's good. You know, he said, what? Have you ever seen a comedian that laughed at his jokes more than the audience did? He's just having too big a time? That happens sometimes. Well, God says, boy, that's good. That's good. And he went on creating some more. Okay, let's look at another slide. How to be kind of like that. You know, I can tell you, I wish that I could say that God just zaps me just all the time. Or that I always feel the presence of God. Or I always sense the presence of God or the power of God. But that's not the case. My feelings and my emotions and my touch is very fickle. I know it's there all the time. But there are many occasions in our life, I think, where God initiates something. God moves because He knows that that's going to touch other things in my life and other people in my life. Just like that, creating what we would call, what many would call, a domino effect. To have the kind of life that we're not so disjointed and so discombobulated and so disconnected that nothing fits. That sounds like the kind of life that I'm in charge of, or that you're in charge of. If we'll let God place things in our life and allow Him and trust Him and seek for Him to add things to our life that puts my life not only in order, Lord, but tie everything together. Let's look at another slide. If you look in the book of Acts, you know, so many of us throughout church history and Christian history, we've looked at Acts chapter 1 and Acts chapter 2 and say, this is, boy, look at that church. Look how dynamic it was. Look how exciting it was. Look how powerful all those believers were. How powerfully Peter preached. And it says that 3,000 people got saved. Well, look right here. I want you to see there's something going on here. In Acts chapter 1, verse 4, the phrase is used two words. It says they were assembled together. All right, let's look at the next slide, Carter. In Acts chapter 1, verse 6, it says, when they were therefore come together. All right, let's look at the next slide. Here it says, when they came in, they went up into the upper room where both Peter and James and John and Andrew, Philip, Thomas, Bartholomew, Matthew, James, the son of Alphaeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas, the brother of James. And these all continued with one accord in prayer and supplication with the women, and Mary, the mother of Jesus, was with his brother. So it says there's a continuity, there's a togetherness, continuing, there's touch, there's connection. All right, let's look at the next slide. In Acts chapter 2, verse 2, it says, when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. They were intentionally bunching themselves together. They were collecting themselves. They were responding to a call for togetherness, closeness. Let's look at another verse, Acts chapter 2, verse 42. And they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship and in breaking of bread and prayers. There was a continuance. There was a momentum. There was an additive thing. So things were producing. Things were happening. One domino was bumping in. And one thing was leading to another, as it says, as we often say. Let's look at another verse. Acts 2:44 says they were together. Let's look at another verse. 2:46, they continuing daily with one accord in the temple. And one final verse, that verse that we read about at the beginning. And the Lord added to the church daily. You see, if you just look at one of these verses, it would have an impact and has meaning. But if you see that when we have such great admiration for this church and these early believers, and the kind of church that they were, and the kind of life that they had, even though they were very simple and common people, we see in the first and second chapter that something that is a reoccurring thought in the writer Luke. As the Holy Spirit leads him to write, it says, you know what? These were people that had a connection. There were people whom God had lined up. There were people who had a continuity. There was construction was going on. Bricks were being laid. People were in place. God's doing all this. But sometimes I think that what happens in our lives is we get scattered. And our life becomes a loose amalgamation of this here and that there, this on Monday and that on Thursday. And we look at our life and there's a lot of dominoes in our life where we're kind of like that little arrow. We just keep poking this one and it just falls down. And poking this one and it just falls down. Let's look at another slide. Kind of strange picture right there, but I'm going to sew things up right here with this. It's almost impossible for us to completely rearrange our lives. are to push things out and bring all new stuff in. All it really is necessary is for things to be added. That's what Peter was saying. And I think that's what's being said here, that the Lord added to the church. Do you know that when those 3,000 people got saved, they were Christians who were willing to tell other people about how they could meet Jesus, to talk about the wonderful works of God. And you're going to read through the book of Acts, it says, well, 5,000 people got saved that day. Luke tells us the dominoes were falling. There are some important elements. We want to be a model. It's important for every church to kind of be a model. We want to tell you that it's important when we come here for us to pray, for somebody to preach, for us to sing the songs of our faith, for us to give and to be good stewards and to be involved in financial sacrifice. We have Sunday school and we study a lesson to learn and to become educated. And we have all these pieces and parts that we believe are a model. But you know, if you want to keep the dominoes falling, I think look at the model. Not just that we have said here, but that churches generally said. When you go to any church, having a fellowship, discipleship, relationship, evangelism, having all the pieces and parts, but then waking up on Monday morning and then asking yourself this question: which of those pieces and parts of the model can I have at Monday? I can read my Bible today and I can pray. I can plug a tape or put a disc on in my car or at my home and I can worship God through song. I can call one of the members of our church or a fellow Christian and I can talk with them on the telephone, or I can contact them through social media some way. In other words, what can I add to Monday to keep things going? I think what happens is we kind of take our Sunday clothes off and we hang them in the closet. And on Monday we live the kind of life that has nothing whatsoever to do with praising and praying and worshiping and singing and studying. But you see that in the church they did that every day. Now they were going to learn that they could do it every day at work. They could do it every day at school. They could do it every day at the shopping mall. They could do it every day at the movies. They could do it every day driving down the road in their car. All they had to do was find those pieces and those parts. I know that some of you read from our daily bread. You have a devotion. Do it every day. That's taking a part of the model. You know, we don't want... If Sunday morning, I've called the 11 o'clock hour the most dangerous hour in Christendom. Because so many people, I think, not just us, but so many Christians around the world, they come to church and they feel like, I need to get everything I need to get today from Jesus. It's got to last me all week long. Well, it won't last. And it's not the intention for you to get so jerked up and jazzed up and so wound up at church that it helps you get through the week. We want to be a model of maybe just the potatoes and gravy, the meat and potatoes. Not just dessert every Sunday. We want to have some dessert too, but something that you can say, I'm going to take those pieces and those parts and add it to my life on Monday and then on Tuesday. Because it's when you begin to add those things, you create a straight line of dominoes. And all God really has to do is just touch you. And all those things begin to click and touch each other and move forward and move up. You know what I think's happening? This little girl, she's trying to look happy. Got a nurse there fixing to give her. Nurses, when they give me shots when I was growing up, hardly were ever that pretty. There's always somebody look kind of like Brian when they give me a shot. Oh man. Brian's that kind of nurse. He says, this is going to hurt and I'm going to enjoy it. Like that. No, he's not like that at all. This little girl's being inoculated. You know, I remember when they began inoculating us. Vaccines. I remember I was at school, at Flint Elementary School, when vaccines were being developed and sent out into the schools. And I wonder now, did everybody know what a vaccine was? Did everybody know what you were being? Oh, no, this is the government, and we're going to give you a shot. And really we found out that it just absolutely almost wiped polio off the face of the earth. Diphtheria, tetanus, terrible diseases. Even with all the scare and worry about vaccinations today, it's still, I know that vaccinations and inoculations sometimes affect people, children, adversely. Sometimes it has terrible side effects. Sometimes people get inoculated and they die. I know that. But it's still 1,000 times better to be inoculated than for polio to break out in your student. Believe me. I've seen polio. Did they tell us? I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't think it would have been successful. Here's how you make a vaccine. Polio vaccine. You know what you do? You know what they did? They get someone who has polio and they extract an element of the virus, polio virus. And they take a little part of it. It's called a killed cell virus aspect. And they take that and really, let's say this little girl, for instance, they're injecting her with just a little bit of polio. You have to Google that when you get home, because I can tell you, that ain't right. That ain't right. That's the way every vaccine is made. You know, back in the Dark Ages, you know what the weapon of assassination was in the Dark Ages among the royalty and among people of great prestige? You know? How were kings and queens killed, and how were heirs to the throne killed back in the Dark Ages?
Something like smallpox.
Well, that's when the people got a hold of it. But I mean when they're killing each other to get through. Poisons. If you ever heard of Borgias, like Lucretia Borgia, she was a famous poisoner. All during this time, they were trying to figure out, there were kings that would just drop dead from poison. And so they had people come along that we want to give you a job. You're going to work with the king. Really? Oh, I'm excited. Yeah. You're going to be his food taster and his wine taster. So that guy, he'd taste all the kings, and then they'd sit there and study for a while. And if he looked all right, then they'd serve it to the king. But a lot of really smart members of the royalty, do you know what they did to protect themselves? Think about it. What would you do? What could you do that would make you impervious to poison? To take a little bit every day. Just take a little bit. Put it on your tongue and swallow. A little bit more the next day. And then when they served in this, give me some wine or give me a chicken leg. They just eat it up. And then they stand back, what the heck? He's fine. Because what would happen is, if you take just a little bit every day, you become immune to it. Now, let me make a point here. I think the reason sometimes our dominoes are scattered so far apart and our life is so scattered, and every time we poke something, all it really does is just fall down, is because we got just a little dab of Jesus. And it wasn't enough to save us, but it was enough to make us completely immune to it. You ever try to share your faith with someone and say, oh, I went to church when I was little? My mom and dad made me go to church. What that means is they got a shot. And it didn't turn them into a Christian. It turned them into someone who can't possibly become a Christian. They can't catch it. They're immune to it. I believe if you read your Bible just a little bit, you get immune to almost all of it. If you just pray just a little bit, if you just pray when you get into trouble, or pray when you need help from God, if you just pray when you're having lunch, then you're going to be completely unaffected by real prayer. You can't catch it. You're immune to it. You've been inoculated. Just a little bit of Jesus, just a little bit of faith, just a little bit of devotion and dedication, just going to let a little bit of Jesus in my life. A lot of people have done that. And all that means is they'll never, ever catch him completely. He'll never be their Savior. Their sins will never be forgiven. They'll never make it into the kingdom of God. Why? Because they're immune to it. They got just enough. Just one piece. And it doesn't touch anything else in their life. It doesn't affect anything else. It doesn't knock anything else down. It doesn't cascade into their whole life. It's just one little bitty thing. It's church on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. And that's all they've got. That's all they've got. And that's all they'll ever catch. Because they're completely immune. Doesn't bother me anymore. Don't want it. Don't need it. Don't have it. Don't miss it. She's never going to think a day of her life about polio. She's immune to it. She's never going to catch it. What the people in the first church, those early believers, what they had, everybody, they were infectious. They were infectious, and everybody around them began to catch what they had. Nobody was immune, unless they chose to be. Let me pray for you. Every head bowed and every eye closed. And this prayer is our invitation today. You know, a little dab will do you. Just a little piece, a little part. Piece here, piece there. 15 minutes here, an hour there. You know that the little bit of Jesus you got in life might be the one thing that's preventing you from ever getting everything that God has for you. It may be blocking you out and keeping you sick because you think you're all right because you got a little taste, because you got a little bite, because you took a little sip. You give 15 minutes to God and you think that for the rest of eternity you're okay. You give Him 30 minutes or an hour or a week, you're good to go. The fact of the matter is, if you think that's all you need, that may be the very thing that will prevent you from ever having all that God truly wants you to have. Are you immune to the workings of God? Now there are pieces and parts of your walk with Jesus only on Sunday, or they carry out throughout the rest of the week, every day. Pieces of your life falling into place, moving forward, touching each other, continuing daily, growing because of what God's added since He added you. If you'll pray right now, every head bowed and every eye closed, if you'll pray right now, God, add to my life because I want to get better at this. Lord, you know that I want to get more out of it because I'm having to carry my faith around in a wheelbarrow when it ought to be carried. Lord Jesus, thank you for giving yourself to us and making us a part of you, your body, your hands, your feet, your arms, your legs, your eyes, your mouth, your ears, the body of Christ, all together, fitly joined, continuing day, knocking things down in your name. For I ask all of this in the name of Jesus.